A control is only as strong as the evidence behind it. In this topic, we'll turn AI governance from documented intent into audit-ready proof by connecting policies, logs, reviews, configurations, approvals, and test results to real regulatory expectations. You've already mapped AI systems, risks, regulations, controls, and owners. Now the focus shifts from design to proof. What evidence to collect, how to validate it, and how to show that controls are actually working. Audit evidence is the connective tissue of AI compliance. A policy or control may sound strong, but without records, approvals, timestamps, and ownership, it is hard to defend. Evidence shows that risks were identified, controls were implemented, and obligations under frameworks like HIPAA, GDPR, and NIST were monitored over time. It also makes audits, incidents, and client reviews easier because proof is already organized, traceable, and tied to accountable owners. Think of AI compliance evidence as a portfolio, not a single file. Governance evidence shows who approved the system and how accountability works. Privacy evidence shows that data was collected, used, and retained lawfully. Security evidence proves controls are operating through logs, scans, access reviews, and incident records. Third-party evidence closes the loop for vendors and model providers. Together, these four areas help reviewers trace risk from policy to real-world operation. Evidence works best when it follows a clear traceability chain. Start with the regulatory requirement, such as a GDPR, DPIA, or HIPAA access control obligation. Link that requirement to the AI risk, then to a specific control ID in the matrix. From there, collect only the artifacts that prove the control is operating. Assign an owner for accuracy and timing. This gives auditors a clean path from obligation to evidence and reduces duplicate requests. Auditors are usually asking two different questions. First, is the control designed well enough to address the risk? That is where policies, procedures, architecture diagrams, and control descriptions matter. Second, did the control actually run as intended, consistently and on time? That requires operating evidence, such as access review logs, tickets, approvals, timestamps, alerts, and reports. For AI governance, you need both the blueprint and the proof of execution. Audit-quality evidence is evidence an independent reviewer can rely on without guessing. It must match the exact control being tested and cover the full scope: the right systems, users, datasets, models, and time period. It should come from a trusted system of record, not a handwritten summary. It also needs to be current for the audit window. Finally, an accountable owner or system must be attached, so the evidence can be traced and defended. Good evidence management starts before any auditor asks a question. When a control is designed or changed, define what proof will show that it worked. Then collect artifacts from authoritative systems as work happens, not weeks later. Periodically validate that the evidence is complete, accurate, and tied to the control. After approval, store it in a controlled repository, retain it for the required period, and refresh it as systems, controls, or regulations change. A strong evidence repository is more than a shared folder. It is the compliance system of record. Evidence should be linked to the AI model, dataset, control, vendor, incident, regulation, and audit period it supports. Sensitive artifacts need role-based access, especially logs, contracts, PHI, and personal data. Every upload, approval, change, and deletion should be traceable. Retention schedules and legal holds help ensure evidence remains available when regulators or auditors ask for it. Naming is not cosmetic. It is what makes evidence findable and defensible. A strong file name tells you the control, system, evidence type, time period, and version, such as a HIPAA access review for EHR AI in Q2. Metadata adds the audit trail: owner, reviewer, source system, regulation, model ID, and audit period. Avoid names like final version 2 or latest. Those labels create confusion exactly when auditors need confidence. Evidence is only useful when it matches the period being tested. Define refresh rules by evidence type, such as monthly logs, quarterly access reviews, annual policy approvals, or event-based incident records. Set retention based on regulation, contracts, policy, and legal risk. Control owners should attest that each submission is complete, accurate, and tied to the right control. Then monitor expired, overdue, and superseded items, so gaps are fixed before auditors find them. Governance evidence has to follow the model's lifecycle, not just the application's controls. Before release, keep records showing the approved use, known limitations, risk review, and who accepted accountability. During validation, retain proof of bias testing, security testing, and performance results. After deployment, the emphasis shifts to monitoring, drift alerts, abuse detection, thresholds, and escalations. Throughout the lifecycle, human oversight must remain visible, including review queues, overrides, training, and rollback procedures when the model must be stopped. Technical evidence is strongest when it traces back to an authoritative system and connects to a specific control. For logs, auditors need the basic story: when it happened, where it came from, who acted, what occurred, and whether it succeeded. For configurations, show the current settings rather than a copied summary. Screenshots can help, but only when they include system identifiers, dates, and user context. When possible, use exported reports because they are harder to manipulate and easier to verify. When an auditor asks about a control, the best answer is not a scramble. It is a clear story backed by evidence. For example, a quarterly access review for an AI system handling PHI should include a narrative explaining scope, owner, frequency, and system of record. The evidence packet should show sampled reviews across the audit period, approvals, exceptions, and remediation. If an issue occurred, include the compensating control and management sign-off. That turns audit requests into routine execution. Evidence collection is what makes AI compliance provable. Strong evidence is relevant, complete, accurate, timely, and traceable to controls. It shows both design and operating effectiveness. With disciplined repositories, ownership, freshness, and audit trails, you are better prepared for audits, incidents, customer reviews, and the next risk conversation.